Boom! What's up, you guys? It's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be talking about the brand new and very bullish Bitcoin ETF news that has just lit a fire under the crypto markets. Bitcoin is crushing it, and of course, when the king is looking strong, the kingdom follows suit. So, we got to talk Bitcoin miners. Bitcoin miners are skyrocketing today, and I hope this continues, but I really want to talk to you guys about what I need to see happen in order for me to believe that this is a continuation of the overall bull market as opposed to a short-term bounce. Okay, so we'll take a look at Bitcoin. We'll take a look at our favorite Bitcoin mining stock, at least mine, Riot Platforms. And because this is a trading-focused channel, of course, I want to talk to you guys about how I'm trading this in the short term. And again, some of the key levels that I'm personally eyeballing in order to take further action in my personal portfolio. Okay, so that's the video, you guys. Hope you guys like that new little blown up intro. So let me know in the comments down below if you want me to keep it that way, or if you want this face staying small. But that said, let's dive into the video. Okay, so first off, we have to cover this piece of, once again, very, very bullish news. First Bitcoin ETF could be coming soon as court rules in favor of Grayscale over the SEC. Okay, this is very bullish. This was the fundamental catalyst that, once again, really lit the spark or sparked the fire under the crypto markets this morning. So we'll kick it off by reading over this. Only a few paragraphs here. As always, you guys, if you want to read further, which I always encourage you do, go do so. But for the purpose of this video and keeping things timely, that's all we're going to read over today is what you see highlighted. Okay. After that, we'll jump straight into the charts, talk technicals. As you see in front of us, we have Riot looking amazing today, closing the day up 17%. Market just closed 10 minutes ago as I'm recording this. So we will discuss Riot once again, some key levels that I'm eyeballing in my personal trading strategy. But you guys know the drill. We have to talk Bitcoin first, and some more really, really important levels here that I need to see broken prior to once again believing that this is an actual continuation of the overall trend upwards as opposed to a short-term, you could almost call it a dead cat bounce, because these past couple of weeks have been pretty brutal. Okay, so that's the video, you guys. Before we dive in, I gotta say, we really called this one in the newsletter. We really called this one in the portfolio. As you can see here, this is my newsletter from August 25th. The second one I write every single trading day, the Price Targets newsletter, where I cover charts and whatnot. And in this newsletter, this is last Friday at the time of recording, we still remain incredibly oversold. You can see Riot's chart below here, way before the pop. I guess a few days before the pop, which means I'm exceptionally bullish on the shorter term, and I put the likelihood of a short-term bounce next week in parentheses at 90 to 95%, which are pretty decent odds. So, again, you guys, I positioned myself for this. My money's always where my mouth is, and in all honesty, I didn't think it would happen this quickly. But I'm really happy to see that today we really tested my first price target. You can see this in yesterday's newsletter that I just sent out yesterday, the same price targets newsletter, calling for profits being taken once this line of support was retested as resistance. And I know I'm jumping forward a little bit here, but again, you guys, it's just so, in this case, great how volatile the crypto markets can be sometimes, and really how technicals come to fruition. Not 100% of the time, but I'll talk more about the significance of broken support being tested as new resistance later on in the video. Okay, so all this to say, you guys, we were right. We called it. Don't want to toot our own horns too much, but it's worth reflecting on what you've done right when you do something right and when you make a winning trade. So if you guys want to know how I'm trading on a daily basis, if you guys want to join Waves Capital, if you guys want these daily trade alert and price targets newsletters that I write every single day, this was the one I just wrote and sent out right before sitting down to record this video, then that's the first link in the description. Complete portfolio daily newsletter. $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months. I always recommend that you try it free for 7 days. And if you don't like it, you can always unsubscribe. But this is my pride and joy. The reason I have the free trial is because I'm so confident in the product that I put out. And as always, if you are a member of Waves Capital, if you've been riding with me, please share your experience in the comments down below. Let prospective members have an idea from those who are actually members of what they can expect. And as always, I appreciate your guys' input if so. Okay, so that's that, you guys. If you do join, welcome to the winning team. If you're already riding, then congrats to an amazing day. Let's reflect on what made this day, at least in the crypto markets, and really sparked a fire under the entirety of the markets. Let's cover that. Key points. The U.S. Court of Appeals for the D.C. Circuit has paved the way for Bitcoin exchange-traded funds. The court sided with Grayscale in a lawsuit against the SEC, which had denied the company's application to convert the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust to an ETF. Bitcoin, Ether, and other major cap crypto coins surged on the news. And Coinbase, which is listed as the custodian partner in multiple spot Bitcoin ETF applications, was up more than 14% on Tuesday. So, yeah, Coinbase crushing it. Bitcoin miners crushing it. Coinbase closed the day up just under 15%. And, of course, everything else in the crypto markets is on fire. So, let's just read over a couple more paragraphs and then we'll jump into the charts. On Tuesday, the court sided with Grayscale in a lawsuit against the SEC, which had denied the company's application to convert the crazy. We kind of just read this, I guess, but we'll reflect on it. The decision could impact other companies that want to create Bitcoin ETFs like BlackRock, Big Boy BlackRock, Uncle Fink, and Fidelity. A spot Bitcoin ETF would be traded through a traditional stock exchange, although the Bitcoin would be held by a brokerage like Coinbase, and would allow investors to gain exposure to the world's biggest cryptocurrency without having to own the coin themselves. Many crypto bulls believe that approval of a spot Bitcoin ETF will lead to more mainstream institutional adoption. Okay, so again, you guys, this Bitcoin ETF, if you've been around the crypto space for any meaningful amount of time, then you've probably been hearing about the Bitcoin ETF. This has been in the works for years. I would say definitely since I've been involved since early 2017, late 2016, this has been talked about. Again, it's taken a long time to come to fruition because obviously things like this should take time and there should be legal hoops that need to be jumped through for just purposes of proper regulatory procedure. But the fact that it is coming to fruition now is a very, very good sign. Once again, the big selling point here is the fact that it just leads to more mainstream institutional adoption. When there are ETFs, they can be bought by pension funds. They can be bought at least in an easier, more convenient fashion to large funds and institutions. So it pretty much just leads big money to Bitcoin in a way that wasn't previously possible. Okay, it allows Bitcoin to be bought by the whales at scale. Okay, so that's why this ETF news is huge. Again, it's big news for the entirety of the market because, again, it just brings in new capital to the space, which ultimately is what you want in a capital market. Okay, so that's the news that catalyzed this big old pop. Again, we will take a look at Riot, talk about this perfect retest of broken support that we again, it's just so satisfying to see. It's not so much that I wanted to share this because we called it. Obviously, that is good, and that speaks to a successful trade. But it's so satisfying to see things like this happen because, again, it just validates some of the things that I believe to be true and some of the things that I've spent a lot of time looking at charts to really validate in my own head. And I said that very uneloquently, but it's nice seeing things that you believe to be true and that you've learned to be true actually be true. Okay, so there we go. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Bitcoin is up. Let's do a quick price range peak to trough. From where we were at the beginning of the day to the high, Bitcoin has climbed a total of about 8.7%, currently up just under 7% as I record this. Okay, again, a little fire into the crypto markets. Riot up 17%. Where is Mara, I know Mara crushed it today. Mara up 28%, almost 30%. Congrats to any of you holding Miss Mara, and Bitfarms doing well too. Okay, so again, the king does well. The kingdom follows suit. Bitcoin is looking great right now, but there are a few very, very significant hurdles that I need to see jumped over, I guess, in the hurdle analogy, prior to believing that upside over the medium to longer term will come. Okay, the first is a break of short-term resistance, okay, or I should say medium-term resistance. This line of resistance right here, this cyan line, blue line, has been in place since July 13th, so about a month and a half now this line has been in play. First touch point here, second touch point, second and third, I guess, confirming this line of resistance. I think that Bitcoin will come up to test this line. It's a very clear line of resistance, and actually what I've been saying in the newsletters for the entirety pretty much of this sideways pattern since we broke this line of long-term support, which we'll talk about next, was a test of the intersection of medium-term resistance and long-term support, which will come into play as new resistance. Again, same thing happening in Bitcoin is happening in Riot. So I think it's very, very possible that by September 1st, August 31st, which what's today, 29th, a couple days from now, Bitcoin is sitting at about 28.8 to test the intersection of these trend lines. But that will inevitably, in my mind, prove as very, very significant resistance, okay? This line is one thing, but this line of broken support is another thing. And since this was broken, when did we break below this? August 17th, okay? So just over 10 days ago, we broke below this. This was a major red flag in my eyes. This is when I really did lose hope as far as the short term is concerned for Bitcoin and Bitcoin miners as well, because that is very bearish. But since that was broken, because this is such a significant line of support, I was extremely confident immediately after the break that it would be retested as new resistance. Again, similar to what I was just discussing with Riot and what we will discuss with Riot after this. So I do think that, again, I put the likelihood it's similar here at like 90 to 95% when a line of support this significance is broken, that it will be retested. Again, the time horizon is one thing. I have no idea when those tests of previous broken supports will come into play as a test of new resistance. But again, I would say 90 to 95% of the time that does happen when it's a meaningful line of support like this. Okay, again, it's a matter of when, not if, at least in my mind. Okay, so I do think that this will happen over the next couple of days. But again, this is such a significant trend line, and again, it comes to an intersection with another pretty significant trend line, both acting as resistance, so both acting as ceilings that need to be broken through. It's almost inevitable to me that the likelihood of rejection here is much higher than not, okay? So that said, this is Bitcoin, this is crypto. I want it to break through. I believe that it can break through, but just objectively speaking, and again, doing my best to stay rational here, the likelihood of a rejection especially the intersection of these two very, very significant lines of resistance is very, very likely, okay? But hey, if we break it, then things will get very, very exciting, and I do think that we could be off to the races. If Bitcoin can break above this, if Bitcoin can reclaim, I'll say safely as of right now, like $29,500, definitely $30,000. If Bitcoin can reclaim conservatively $30,000, then I think it's very likely that we travel along the top end of this sideways range. These two again, parallel green lines creating that sideways range. I do think it's possible that Bitcoin hovers right below the top end of this range, and the holiday months are the best. The summer months are slow, but it looks to me like we're hopping out of that summer lull, and I'm really excited for what the coming fall, winter months have in store for crypto. Best case scenario, I'll just play this for fun. Is this likely? Absolutely not. It's possible. Again, it's crypto. Anything's possible. So best case scenario is that Bitcoin does reclaim its broken ascending channel. We rally into the fall, winter months, and Halloween, just because that's kind of the beginning of the fall, winter months. And as far as I want to stretch out this chart, to be honest, if everything goes beautifully according to plan, I think that by November 1st, Bitcoin could make its way to the top end of this ascending channel, which would be around $47,000 by the beginning of November. Okay, so even if it takes longer, you guys, I do think that by 2024, Bitcoin will be able to reclaim this channel and make it to the top end of this channel, being the top line of resistance, which is this white line right here. The further this stretches out, the higher the price target will be. And again, this is a conservative line, not using the top candle wicks. I don't like doing that. I'll use that. I'll set that as my trend line. And, again, November 30th, December 1st, that would lead to a 50K Bitcoin. The Bitcoin halving is next year. I think that, historically speaking, that is a proven catalyst for upside and eventual new all-time highs. So, again, maybe it doesn't happen this year, but I do think that as we progress through 2024, this bull market will really set fire. And, hopefully at the latest by fall, winter of 2024. So, just over a year from now, Bitcoin, I can confidently say will be sitting at new all-time highs. So that's Bitcoin, very long term. Let's get more exciting. Let's talk Riot in the shorter term and call it a day. Okay, so for the third time, Riot has retested this line of broken support as new resistance. And again, when we zoom in here, it's to a T. Let's go 4 hours just to get a little more specific here, a little more precise. You can see that Riot exactly on the dot, candle wick right on the button, tested this line of broken support, broken long-term support that's been in play. That light just turned off. Sorry about that. Has been in play since March 13th. Second touch point right here on June 15th, creating that line of long-term resistance. And today, it was proven as such. And long-term support proven today as a new line of resistance. So, again, Riot will clearly, in my opinion, struggle here. But given the momentum behind Bitcoin, if Bitcoin will very likely climbs another few percent, I think Riot can climb up to at least this range right here from about 1385 to 1440. I think that range is entirely possible, which is about 15% up from current levels at 1220. And best case scenario, if the markets really start igniting, if risk assets really start catching traction and continue to rally over the next week or two, then I do think that this line of resistance for Riot will come into play. Because this is such a steep line, the price target is completely dependent upon when this trend line is tested. But say we test it September 12th, that would take us up just over 30% to about $15.90. Okay, so as always, you guys, hop into your own charts, draw these trend lines for yourselves. You can see very, very clearly. And again, another great example right here. Riot's previous line of broken resistance came perfectly. Riot's line of broken long-term resistance, this red line right here, it's been a long video, you guys, my apologies, was perfectly, again, to a T, tested as new support. Okay, this is one of the most guaranteed technical setups that I've come across in my years of trading, and I'll trade this pretty much every time. If a significant line of resistance or support is broken, the likelihood of it retesting that trend line as the opposition, so broken resistance, new support, broken support, new resistance, is around I'll say 80 to 90%. Okay, and that's when weighing asymmetric risk profile, which is pretty much all being a trader is about, is everything. Are the odds in your favor? And, personally, I'll take an 80 to 90 percentile trade 100% of the time. Okay, so just keep that in mind, you guys. Go draw these trend lines for yourself if you're trading Riot. Again, if you want to trade with me on a daily basis, if you don't want to wait for these videos that I post every week or two, and if you want my opinion on names like C3AI, Pagaya, Render Token, which I'll write about right after this, then that is all part of the Complete Portfolio daily newsletter. Once again, it's the first link in the description box of this video, and again, welcome to the winning team if you do. So again, sorry about the lights. Sorry if you didn't like my big old face in the intro. Let me know in the comments down below once again if I should keep or bail on that. And, just thank you guys for watching. I'm excited for what the coming days, weeks, months have in store for Waves Capital. I'm excited to ride the waves with you guys. And I'll catch you in the comments downstairs. Until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.